Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Heads Up Hockey. This is Jersey Joe once again. So, it is a tied series going in tonight. And by the time this gets uploaded, it'll probably be someone else leading 3-2. But right now, as we stand, it is a tight series, more than it was more than a week ago, almost 2 weeks by the time you're listening to this. You probably know the answer by the time you wake up. So, without further ado, the New Jersey Devils have probably found their goaltender of the near term and the future in Akira Schmid. Now, if you look at the way Lindy Ruff made a few slight changes, it's very likely that Miles Wood is not going to be part of this team going forward. Damon Severson, same thing. It's likely his last rodeo with the New Jersey Devils. And the Devils are going to be playing in their own backyard, in their own rink, and basically with 16,000 fans ready to go into Prudential Center. Hopefully, the Devils are the first team to win a home game in this series, mind you. Now, with that being mentioned, the Devils lost two at home. The Rangers lost two at their home ice. So really, they've been negating each other, but the Devils been actually finding momentum against the Rangers and readapting, playing better on the penalty kill, reducing stupid penalties. The Devils been playing a lot more physical in a more efficient way. Not trying to overhit, they're trying to cleanly hit. And guys like Kevin Ball have been timing those clean checks and stuff like that. So, with that being said, people said, "Oh, playoff experience is going to be a very, very hard thing to overcome." They have overcome a lot in the past two of the four games, dealing with those things of adversity and jitters. Now, I still think the Devils can possibly win it. They could take it over, and the Rangers know this, that when the Devils are wearing out the Rangers when the first half of the game, once they slow down the Rangers outside the kid line with Hedel, Kako, and Lafreniere, it's a lot harder for them to break through. And the Rangers, once they start tighten up their grip, it's a lot harder to get the right shots on net. And when Akira Schmid, for the most part, with or without traffic, he's one of the best in the game thus far. And I like to mention this site, Money Puck. It is a fabulous website. For those of you who like hockey analytics or gives you a little bit of an inside scoop, they're very credible. And I'm not saying it just from a Devils fan standpoint. I'm also telling you from a hockey operation standpoint. So imagine if you have a team and you want to look at the better goalie and the other opponent's goalie. It shows you how efficient or inefficient those goalies are and how those other lines are productive and not so productive. I really like it. And it really does an amazing job of tracking all those stats. And recently, I mentioned on Locked On Devils that you have a guy like Schmid who only let up only two goals in a minimum of two playoff games, and Vasilevsky let up over 19 goals. Probably a little bit more right now because of the game against Toronto. So now Toronto is looking to clinch, but they're 0 for 10 all time. The past many playoffs that they've been associated trying to get past the first round. In those 3-1 series leads, can the Maple Leafs close it out? That's the next question. Will they be able to? Maybe it's possible. If Matthew Nyes can help, certainly will. I'm just thinking for those Maple Leafs fans, if Matthew Nyes can outproduce Michael Bunting in the lineup definitely has the upper hand going forward. He's the young guy, great player, played well for Team USA, really good overall player in college hockey. I believe he can help you guys win that game against Tampa Bay. Although I was leaning Tampa Bay before this series, when you add Nyes, he can be really good agitator. He's American of Slovak parents. He knows how to chirp as well. So when it comes to this kind of time of year, he can certainly go at it. And if the Devils, let me go back to the Devils for a bit. If the Devils win their series, they either face the Hurricanes or the Islanders. And I would say this, if the Devils want to go a little wild, they can add Luke Hughes if they want to. But right now, they should just keep the things the way they are. And if things are working, don't change it. But if you're going into the next round, it's good to play Vanacek because, it's good to deal with other teams and give them a different look and rest your one goalie. And it's good to have Schmid on the bench. And the Devils coaching staff knows how to mix and match everything else. And, the Devils, the past few years, should have easily been in the wild card. And the illness affected it, injuries affected it. Mark Recchi on the power play, Elaine Nasruddin didn't help. And the Devils changing coaching staffs a little bit in the past offseason has paid dividends. And the potential was there. They just need to add pieces. The guys they moved on from, like Zetterlund, who I personally liked, they had to trade one of my favorites in Shakir Muhammadulin, Nikita Ohotuk, and they kept Dawson Mercer. They kept Kevin Ball. And the Devils didn't give up Seamus Casey and Ethan Edwards. They kept those pieces. They kept Simon Nemec. They kept Luke Hughes. And I don't mean to sound biased, but for what Tom Fitzgerald gave up is actually pretty good. And it just goes to show you how savvy he is in reasoning with Mike Grier as a GM. And Grier tried to hold him out long enough, but I think it was like Carolina or someone who was trying to get a guy like Timo Meier. But anyways, Timo, although he hasn't scored yet, could possibly pop at any given moment offensively. He's been coming close. The thing is, goalies nowadays, especially Igor Shesterkin, you're not going to beat them many times down low. They take away those percentage shots. They struggle with the mid to high angles. They can't really reach up here. I'm just trying to give you an example. But Dougie Hamilton exploited that. Who else exploited him mid angle was Jonas Siegenthaler. And another guy who did similar was Jack Hughes. And when Jack gets on those breakaways, he can go backhand, but he decided to go forehand on the opening drive. And Siegenthaler, to me, is a key defenseman. And the Devils only paid a third-round pick, if I remember, minimum, to the Washington Capitals when they were in their final year of being a draft lottery team. And really, it's paid dividends. And Siegenthaler is here for the long run. And guys like that are part of the Devils' future and growing the defense core. So, with that being a key factor, let me see who else is in tonight's games. Let's see what's going on in the NHL. Besides Devils Rangers, it's Lightning versus Leafs, and it's the Jets versus Golden Knights. Okay, so Golden Knights and Maple Leafs. Now, I'm going to use this little app called Viget Technologies. They used to sponsor the podcast, and they went through some times, hard times, trying to make money. And if I'm feeling good, you can do like safe bets where it doesn't take actual money. It's just Viget tokens. And I'm not sure if you can see. Well, I have a privacy screen, but anyways, I'm going to show you from there. I'm going to do NHL. I'm going to do Toronto, New Jersey, and Vegas. And I'm going to do a parlay. So, like that, create parlay. And the key is when you do Viget, you can only place a maximum of 500 Viget tokens. And if I win a parlay of Devils, Golden Knights, and Maple Leafs tonight, I will win 2,370 plus Viget tokens. Remember, this is for fun. It's not actual gambling. And I actually prefer that because I just like to have fun. Nothing serious. Like my buddy Trey Matthews always says, is please be responsible, stuff like that. But anyways, the NHL draft's coming up, and the Devils don't have a first round pick this year. However, I did have a little fun earlier on one of my favorite sites. It's called draftprospectshockey.com underneath draft sim on the local draft. And one of the guys that I think would be a really good pickup around 188th would be Christian Kostadinsky, left-handed defenseman, physical, big guy, defensive-minded, can play a little bit of everything. I think the Devils, and Tom Fitzgerald, they want a guy like that in the draft. I mean, after giving up a Muhammad Doolin and a Hotyuk, and you want to build along the Kevin Balls and succeed a Ryan Graves, you do want those big body, able left-handed defensemen. Let me see. So I'm going to do a little elite prospects just to give you a little bit more context on some other players. I mean, there's only 5 actual picks that the Devils can utilize. So one of the other ones, Mateo Mann, he's a right-handed defenseman. He's a 2004 birthday. Yeah. So let's see what we get out of this guy. I just like doing these as fun because, the Devils aren't picking as high as they used to, but they have progressed, and this is a good thing. This kid is a defenseman. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. So for those you use the metric system, 195 centimeters tall and 102 kilograms. He's right-handed shot. He's the 71st rated by Future Considerations Hockey and 84th NHL Central Scouting in North America. So he plays for Chicoutimi Saguenay in the QMJHL. And let's see. So he's known to be more of a very strong puck handler, very good defensive player, has really good leadership. He's got solid teamwork. He's a good hitter. He's not overly aggressive. He needs to work on his shooting accuracy a little bit more. He has below average agility. He's a very offensive style player. He's an above average skater with acceleration, above average with speed. Um, his passing is a 12, so he's a pretty good passer for the most part, and he's a very good shot blocker. And one of the things that I always talk to people about this analytics I created between hits and blocks is called Sasquatch isolated defense. And when you have a guy that can suppress offense and produce big on defense, you help create efficiency standards on your blue line, and you create higher odds for your team in the defensive zone as well to make better breakout passes, helping your team going forward. To me, if I can do a comparison, I don't like doing um, just the whole analytic stuff, but let me just do a compare. Let me see if I can do this Devils player. So here we go. So for for similar reference, Mateo Mann, his physical build from height to weight is eerily similar to Dougie Hamilton. To me, this is a good thing to have when you're looking at these prospects. Um, just looking at a kid at age 16. So remember, Dougie played in the OHL. This kid played in the Q. But at age 16 and age 15, there isn't a comparison because they were in the under 17s, under 18s, under 16s, just like the Flyers and the Falcons. However, if you want to look at a little bit of reference, in 2010, 2011, Dougie Hamilton had 58 points in the OHL with 12 goals in 67 games and 63 games in the QMJHL for Chicoutimi. Mateo Mann had 11 points in 63 games. Although Dougie played better in the playoffs with 16 points in 14 games for the Niagara Ice Dogs, Mateo Mann tends to be the more defensive minded version of Dougie. So there's a little bit of a factor. I think that's where you take a look at Mann versus Hamilton. And then you look at, let's see if we can do OHL. Yeah. Basically, if you want to look at where Hamilton was way ahead of Mann's production on points. Mateo Mann is more of the defensive version of Dougie Hamilton. Size, body mass index, already big. Someone's going to pick him. I'm not sure if the Devils are going to end up with him because someone else who's listened to this video will probably pick him. And it's just one of those fascinations I have when it comes to comparing players, doing a little scouting there, and just doing a little reading can help you go a long way. But I think with the way this podcast is set up, like I will talk a little bit more about some of these other players. I didn't want to hold on to you folks for too long, but with the playoffs and everything, it's going to go a little too slow at times because it's going to get very juicy at different times and different moments of this series. And whoever hoists the cup this year will get the bragging rights. But I digress a little. I would like to ask you to give a thumbs up on my YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on the notification bell down below. And also, don't forget to find me on anchor.fm, now called Spotify for Podcasters, also on Spreaker, anywhere else you can pretty much find a podcast. So don't forget to send a comment down below. I'm also on Twitter, and let's see what you think of not just the playoffs, but the rest of the offseason going forward. Because, you know, like I said, it's been a fun year. It's really been fun. I just hope the Devils win this series. But yeah, look at me on Pucks and Pitchforks. I'm Jersey Joe 11 underscore NJ. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.